I've never had a better potato skin. That's for real. That is the best potato skin I've ever had. Hey everyone, I'm Dave and today we're making the world's best potato skins. I'm very excited about this one because it's an awesome junk food. So as always on this channel, we look up the world's best recipes and we always cook whatever Google first recommends and we test it out and we see if it really is the world's best. A lot of times it is. So if you want to follow along and try this recipe with me, let's do it. So it looks like the world's best recipe is coming from New York Times Cooking today, serious potato skins. And I did notice when I was looking at this that we need the following ingredients. We need 4 potatoes. Now it says Idaho potatoes. I just got russet because when I Googled it, it seemed like Idaho is a russet potato, but it's just from Idaho. And I'm not in Idaho, so I figured I'd just get nice big russet potatoes. These are gonna be huge potato skins. We'll need to wash these, of course. We need some extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper, a bunch of scallions or green onions, whatever you like to call them. Let me show you what those look like here. These things right here. Some bacon, some cheddar, and of course some sour cream for when we're done. Also, I'll probably put ketchup on mine because I like ketchup on my potato skins. So this is kind of a longer process because you gotta cook the potatoes first. So I set my oven to 400 so that we could start that up. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna wash these off because they're probably gross. So I'll be right back, let me just wash them. Now when I say they're probably pretty gross, I mean it in a literal sense because when I went to buy these today at the grocery store, stay potato, the guy bagging the groceries dropped one on the ground. So I know for a fact they are dirty, and who knows how many other people have dropped them on the ground. Additionally, it's potato skins, so we're literally gonna be eating the skin, so you wanna make sure that the skin is not gross. All right, so as far as what we're actually gonna do here, the first step is to put these on a foil-lined baking sheet, which I should have some foil here. Non-stick side, interesting. This is a weird foil, it's got writing on it. What's this side say? Anyways, I guess there's different sides to foil now. It's confusing. So we're gonna do that with our pan. And then the next step is to take some olive oil, pretty simple, and put it on the potatoes. So I'm just gonna kind of do that and spread it about and make the potato all olive oily. I do the same thing when I'm doing Greek-Roman wrestling in the backyard. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do that. Sorry about the mental image though. Disturbing. Definitely a good way to lose the appetite. Okay, so we get this all covered up with oil, and then we're gonna put some salt and pepper on it. Now my hands are all oily, so I'm gonna have to, you know, rinse them off, but it's not a big deal. Okay, so those are all on here. Let me wash my hands really quick because they're nasty. Actually, that's not what it says. I thought it would say put the salt and pepper on them now, but it doesn't say that. I've cooked potatoes before like this, and usually the recipes call for that. This one just says put them straight in the oven at 400 degrees like this. That was kind of satisfying. There was a baking pan in there and I pulled it out and put it in there and there was water and it sizzled. I'm sure you heard it. Pretty satisfying sound. Now we're gonna set our timer for 1 hour and let those potatoes cook. All right, and while those potatoes cook, we're gonna prepare the other ingredients. First one being the scallions or green onions. We're gonna wash these as well. It calls for a bunch of scallion. This is a scallion, right? I'm thinking of chives are the leafy one. Yeah, this is a scallion. It doesn't actually say if I'm supposed to use the whites or the greens, but the pictures show green scallions. So I'm gonna assume really the part we want is this top part, the green part. I'll wash it up and then we'll trim that. So the way I'm gonna do this, I think, is just take a knife, any old knife, nah, not that knife. This knife will do. It's mostly clean. No, it's clean. It does have a little rust on it, but what can you do? We're just gonna cut off this white part because I don't think we need that for this recipe. I have done recipes where you use the white part, but usually you have to cook it. And this does not call for cooking it. So I'm assuming we're just really gonna use the green and light green portion. And so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna chop this up. These are gonna be like a garnish on top of the potatoes. I actually really enjoy it, but it is optional. So if you don't like these, you could just skip this step. And this is probably overkill even. Right about here is probably enough of them for all these. We're only doing 4 potatoes, which would make 8 potato skins because you cut them in half, right? That's my math of the day. I like to always incorporate some level of math so that you guys can know I learned arithmetic. All right, so there's our green onions. We'll put these in a bowl and set them aside for when the potatoes are done. Just set them in here. Oops, they're flying away. And so I'm noticing the next step of the recipe says to grate the cheese, right? But I bought grated cheese. So maybe I'm a little lazy, but that's what I did. So I don't need to do that step. You could buy normal block of cheese and just grate it, but like I said, I went the lazy path, all is well. And then we're supposed to do 8 ounces of bacon. And with that bacon, we're supposed to cook it. We're supposed to, what's the word I'm looking for? Chop it first. Someone gave me a cool idea in the comments. I always like the comments, appreciate it. And the suggestion was to use scissors to chop the bacon. That's a pretty cool idea. I'd never thought of that. I definitely could do that, but I'm not going to. Not because it's a bad idea, but just because I don't have scissors that I want to get bacon on. Although maybe I do. Let me check in here. No, I don't. All right, so what we're doing now is we're just chopping the bacon. And I don't know if this is the best way to do it. I mean, look at that. That's kind of like, I don't know how big the pieces are going to be. I guess it doesn't matter. It's really up to us. Now, it called for 8 ounces. This is technically 16 ounces of bacon. So I probably won't use it all. I think I'm going to cook it all and chop it all because, you know, it's always good to have some extra bacon bits lying around the house. So I figure why not cook them anyways. Bacon has gotten really expensive, by the way. This was marked like $9. I could have sworn I used to pay like $6 for a similarly sized thing of bacon. Crazy. I almost just cut my fingers off by looking at the camera. That's always good. Someone asked me in my comments, so if you watched all my videos, and I know there's, you know, not that many that watch every video, but I talked in one video about my dad chopping his finger off and us having to find the finger and put it in a bag of ice, me personally having to put it in a bag of ice and all that stuff while I was young, teenager. Well, someone asked, they said, Dave, you never really finished your story. What happened with your dad's finger? Did they get it back on? Is he fingerless? You know, all these, like a fingerling potato, all these questions. So I did want to fill you in, guys, on my dad's finger. He cut off basically his thumb here and his pointer here and a little bit of the tip of his middle finger. Not cooking, he was doing construction work, okay? He was using a table saw. Those things are finger stealers. And they did try to sew it back on. I've got many gruesome photos of the process, but it did not stay. It didn't tape, as you say. So he basically, eventually after a bunch of surgeries, they had to cut it all back off anyways. And that is the delicious story of severed fingers. I always like to talk severed fingers when we're cooking. I think it really increases your appetite. That and the Greek-Roman wrestling, no one's gonna ever eat again. These are kind of huge chunks of bacon, but I think I'm okay with it. You could definitely go smaller. I think what happened is my bacon was sitting out at room temp while I was getting this recording ready, and it's just a little softer than I want it. And if it was a little bit cooler, like in the freezer for a minute, it'd be easier to chop it. Another alternative you could try is you could cook the bacon first, then chop it. All right, so I put my pot on there, my pan, and now we're gonna actually cook this bacon. This will be pretty easy. I think, you know, most of the viewers have probably cooked bacon, but not necessarily. So basically just put it on the pan. I've got it set to medium-high temperature, and I'll just, you know, spread it out, move it around, and let it cook up. It's gonna take a couple minutes here. While that happens, I will clean up a little bit, and we'll be back in a second. So I'm just gonna keep the bacon moving so it doesn't get burnt on any side. Again, you could just cook this bacon full and just chop it when you're done. But, you know, I figured the problem with that is that, you know, with the size of that bacon, I was gonna have to put like 4 batches on to cook it in such a small pan. So this is actually an easier way to cook it all at the same time instead of having to do a little bit at a time. I don't know of a better smell than bacon. Bacon cooking on the grill, or the oven. It's not a grill. I do have a grill. I like to cook bacon on my flat top griddle that I have outside, but it got all rusty and I'm too lazy to fix it, so I guess I've resigned myself back to cooking inside because I don't want to deal with the rust. This is starting to crisp up a little, but it definitely has a long way to go. Another important thing to note in the recipe is that it says to save the bacon grease when you're done, so don't discard that right away. All right, this bacon is still cooking. It's taken a while. but it is cooking and it's starting. You can start to see the brown edges and stuff on the bacon. It looks quite delicious, so I'm sure it's gonna be good. We just gotta give it a little more time. A lot of bacon grease here. I'm not actually sure how I'm gonna separate the bacon bits from the bacon grease. Gotta think about that. Some sort of strainer or something. Yeah, I might have an option. I gotta look into this. I'll just use these metal tongs and I'll pull it out with that. All right, it's getting very close now. You can see a lot of it has started to crisp up. And they're gonna go in the oven too, I think on broil once we're done with all this. So they'll cook a scotch more, but I definitely wanna take them a little bit further. And we're really close though to calling this done. It's crazy bubbly, huh? Very frothy bacon. Everyone loves a good frothy bacon. I'm not that into the bacon on my dessert thing. Do you guys like that? Like when they take a donut and put bacon on it or stuff like that? I'm not that into it. I love bacon and I love dessert, but I just don't think I like them together. It just doesn't make sense to me. What do you guys think? Is this done? Let's get some like out of the froth and take a look on the, that looks pretty done, right? Looks delicious. So I'm gonna say that's probably done. Let's turn off the heat. Give it another second here. Yeah. Okay, so our bacon bits are done. So we've cut the scallions. Scallions? Yeah. The green onions, the scallions. We've diced those up. We've got the cheese all shredded because I bought it pre-shredded. Shredded, like a dog, shredded. I bought it pre-shredded, so it's already shredded. And now we've got our bacon bits cooked. We'll set those aside. We'll set our bacon grease aside. And up next, we're just gonna wait for these potatoes to cook. They still have 37 minutes to go, so we can go multitask or do something else, I don't know. Find something to do. But let's just take these bacon bits out and put them into our bowl here so we can have them ready for the potatoes. This looks delicious, right? Would you eat that? It's like instead of your cereal in the morning, just eat this. Yummy bacon bits. I'm sure it's healthy. It's good for your body. It's all natural from a pig's belly. This isn't probably kosher. I would say that. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that it's not kosher. It's possible, but I just am starting to doubt it. All right, so there's our cooked bacon bits. We'll set those aside with the scallions and we'll wait for the potatoes to finish. All right guys, so it's been an hour and 5 minutes and I took out a potato. We want the fork. I put it on this wire cooling rack. We're gonna put a fork into it, and if the fork goes in easily, we'll know it's done. Okay, so I would say it didn't go in easily. It went in easily at the top, but then the middle, it got really hard. So I put them back into the oven. We're gonna let them cook for a little longer. You have to keep in mind, my potatoes I got are giant and massive. You may have smaller ones, so they may be done in 45 minutes. Definitely keep an eye on them. Mine are not done yet. All right, guys, I just tested the potatoes again. The fork went in and out really easy, so I'm gonna pull them out of the oven and put them on this rack. All right, so now we've got 4 potatoes, pretty much fully cooked, ready to be turned into potato skins. It says to let them cool for 10 minutes on the cooling rack. All right, so now that they've cooled for a little bit, we're gonna take a, let me get a knife here. Oh, floppy knife. Oven mitt or something like that that you can hold these with because they're still gonna be really hot. And we're gonna cut them into quarters, not halves, but quarters, which I'm actually kind of surprised by, but that's what the recipe calls for, is quarters. You can hear it's kind of crispy there on that side. So there you go, you've got a half. Just cut my finger here. Gosh. All right, it's still really hot. And then a quarter. This is what it calls for. I think it would be better to just put this on a cutting board than to do it with my bare hands like this. That's just my opinion. They're also kind of falling apart, so not going well so far. I'm gonna take a giant cutting board and I'm gonna rethink this a little bit. See, I don't like how it's like falling apart. Okay, but see, this is easier if I just do this. Oh, sort of. Maybe I overcooked them. Look at the way it just falls apart. Kind of weird. Whatever, I've never made these before, so, you know, that's part of the process. Maybe I should try a bread knife. That might be better, because it'll give me like that. Yeah, ooh. Okay, there's a trick. Use a bread knife. Bread knife looks like this. That one went way better, way more smoothly. Oh, you know what? And then let's flip it over like this and do the same thing. We're learning, we're learning. That's good, that one came out much better than this one. We'll still use that one, it just looks terrible. All right, so bread knife. See, this is where I could use the glove. cut it in half, flip it over. Oh. So, why does this not want to come? Oh, you know what it is? It's because this is like crispy, so it's kind of hard to get it apart. Flip it over and do the same thing. Quarters. There we go. And we got one left that we're gonna do. This time I'm gonna flip it over first. See, every single time we're gonna get better and better at this. Cut it in half, flip it over, and quarter. Now I would have thought it would have just been half the potato, but it says to do it in quarters, so that's what we did. So the next step, we need to get a spoon. It says what we wanna do is we wanna scoop out the inside, but leave a little. You don't want it to just be the skin only. So it says leave like a quarter of the potato. So I'm thinking like, we'll do this. Oh, that's so hot. Melted my flesh. Maybe a little more. That one I went too far on, whatever, it's good enough. There, okay, there's a potato skin. And we're gonna get that baking sheet back out, which is very hot, but it's still got the foil on it and all that. So I'm gonna take this potato skin, I'm gonna put it back on to the foil there, and I'll show you with this camera here. See, I put it back on there. And we're gonna kind of just repeat the process, right? I'm gonna take another quarter here, flip it over, scoop out all but a quarter of the inside. Is this the flesh or is the flesh the outside? The filling. So what to do with all this extra potato? The recipe says save it, use it for something else, use it for a potato soup, use it for mashed potatoes, something along those lines. You know, there's definitely use cases. Tina, my wife, says we can play hot potato with it. It's a good idea, Tina. She's laughing at her own joke over there. Scoop this all out. Actually, it's taking up a lot of room on this tray, but I will just pull all these out. I'll burn my flesh immensely, and I'll get these all on the tray here, and then we'll come back when we're closer to ready. And just, if you're following along at home, you know, just pause the video here so that you can stay caught up with me and do the same thing I'm doing, just make a huge mess. And I'm gonna put this potato in here. Like I said, you know what I'll probably do with these is cook them tomorrow in a frying pan. Be like a, you know, like a home fry kind of thing. Be kind of good. Oh, this one is, all right, so it's working out. It's working out. I'm happy with how this is turning out. We just gotta keep doing it. Ah, dang it, that's a fail. You definitely wanna leave a little potato in there, because if you just did the skins, it would be kind of gross. I think that's more like how you make a potato chip, you know? Is you just do the skins only. You gotta have a little bit of meat on it. All right, so we got all the potato skins laid out on my pan. I took out the innards, throw in paper towels, and set that aside. Let's see what we have to do next. All right, remember that bacon grease we set aside earlier? I still have it, and at this point, the recipe calls for spreading it onto the skins. So right here on the actual potato, we're putting bacon fat. I mean, this is definitely junk food, guys. There's no world where we're gonna call this a healthy snack. The bacon grease totally just put it over the edge of unhealthy. But yeah, I mean, I bet it's gonna taste delicious, so I'm not fussing. And I could fuss. All right, so we just do that. I don't know if these are gonna look that good. That's my only concern. You know, I gotta get a good YouTube thumbnail, and I don't know if these are gonna look great. All right, up next, we're gonna top with our cheese and bacon, and I'm betting the scallions don't go on till the very end. So let's just put cheese on here. I mean, they're so close, I can kind of just go buck wild here and, you know, make it look good later. So, bunch of cheese on the potato skins. Buck wild, do people still say that? Am I dating myself when I say that, buck wild? I feel like I am. Feel like that's something they said when I was a kid. But I don't think I said it, I think my parents said it. Maybe they did, I don't know. You know, the other day, a friend of mine found Jankos at a garage sale. Remember Janko jeans? You gotta be from the 80s to really get the reference, I think, 80s, 90s. I guess Jankos are more 90s. All right, so we plop our cheese all the way over here, and then we take this delicious bacon and just spread it upon with gusto. You remember, I cooked a little too much, so I'm gonna have more. I might just use it all though, because you can't really have too much bacon on your potato skins, can you? I mean, I guess you could. I don't know, these look great. So I think we're gonna be happy with the results, guys. I think it's gonna be hard to be disappointed when this is finished. Now, we've got our oven, we set it to broil. We had it at bake, we baked these at 400, these potatoes, and we're switching it to broil, and we're gonna throw these in the broiler, just like this. Let me make sure. Yeah, broiler until the cheese is bubbling. All right, so I just cleaned up a little and I've got them in there on broil and I'm kind of terrified because broil is aggressive. And so these things might only take like 2 minutes. So we're probably almost done. Let me check. Okay, we're right on the edge. The cheese is melted, it's not bubbling. I think we're gonna give it like 40 more seconds. I would keep your eye on it the whole time. We'll get our plate ready. Yeah, hopefully these are good. We'll see. I did get ketchup out. Not everyone likes ketchup with theirs, but I like ketchup with mine. So when we do the taste test, I'll wanna do that. We got salt and pepper. Remember that was part of this recipe. And we got our scallions as well. So that's gonna be what we do next. Okay, let's take these out. They're gonna be done. It's been about 4 minutes. They're bubbly and delicious looking. I think they're gonna be a tasty treat. Let's put it out on here. And let's put a couple on a plate. Hopefully they're good. I feel like I want them to be a little crispier. But I don't know, we'll try them. Yeah, they look a little bit soggy, I'll be honest. Should I put them in longer? I'm gonna put them back in. I think I want them a little bit crispier, although they look pretty darn close. I just wanna see a little brown crispy edge, that's all. All right, I'm giving up. It's not really getting much crispier, so probably had it in there for like 5 minutes too. Anyways, let's just set some of these. That's a little crispier. That's not true. It definitely crisped up a little bit, but it's not super crispy. Okay, let's put them on here. We're gonna try them. We're gonna see if they're the world's best potato skins or if it's just all been a lie this whole time. I don't know. That one looks good. I like how bacony it is. I don't know, like 5 of them on there. What do you think, guys? Does that look like the world's best? I don't know. It's not gonna taste bad, I can guarantee you that. Let's put some scallions on there. All right, a little bit of that green, a little bit of color. I do like the way those taste, and then we'll add a little sour cream to them as well. I don't know, this is just squirts of sour cream. I don't know. Oh, I forgot to add salt and pepper. We can add it at the end. I'll do salt into the hand first, or pepper into the hand first, and then just kind of put it on there, and then we'll do a little salt as well. A little bit of salt. Although there's probably enough salt in the bacon. All right, so let's try these things. I'm gonna try the bite with the sour cream first, and we'll add a little ketchup. But yeah, here we go. World's best, slightly soggy potato skins down the hatch. Get it in the mustache. Let me have a little more. Hold on. Still very hot and very delicious. Yeah, these are really good. These are delicious potato skins. I gave some to Tina too. I don't know if she's tried them yet. We can ask her opinion as well. This last bite, I'll do it the way I normally do it. A little sour cream, a little ketchup, a little spurt of each, and take a bite. And that's a lot of sour cream, actually. Yeah, it was a little heavy-handed on the ketchup and sour cream. But here's what I'll say. I've never had a better potato skin. That's for real. That is the best potato skin I've ever had. And I've had a lot of potato skins. Mind you, I normally go for like the freezer aisle potato skins, like TGI Fridays, and they're terrible. They used to be better, now they're terrible. These, on the other hand, are delicious. I really like them. I would give them a 10 out of 10, no complaints at all. I'll get Tina to try them, and then I'll tell you what she says. Tina gives them an 8 out of 10. I think there's really nothing I would change about them. They're pretty perfect. I really enjoyed it. Try this recipe, guys. Go back, watch the video again, follow along. I think you'll like it. See you next time. Make sure you subscribe.